All right, today we have our fourth podcast coming around, and I have a very special guest here today who is a Finnish dancer, writer, podcaster, and speaker as well, Mr. Johannes Hatsolo Hattunen. Lovely to have you here, man.
Happy to be here.
That's awesome. So how was it? How did it feel like making the speech today?
I mean, the venue is nice. The atmosphere is nice. So it was easy for me. You know, it's just
Right.
relaxed and do your thing and tell your story, and then people seem to enjoy it. So yeah,
That's great. That's great.
no bad feelings.
Yeah, I get it. So how long have you been doing the motivational speeches?
Actually, 10 years.
Oh, wow.
My first speech was exactly 10 years and 2 days ago.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
That's a long run.
Yeah.
It's quite a positive run, I would say.
Yeah, and it started like out of nowhere. There was this TEDx competition,
Right.
like audition, and I just went there and happened to win it. And then my first international speech was in the TEDx Turku event,
right.
and yeah, it started from that. And
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So what made you join the competition per se?
I have a gym, and in our gym we start the session or the workout with a little story.
All right.
The idea is to get people on the same page, maybe because people come with different energies. Maybe they have
Right.
busy day behind, and so
Correct.
we want to bring everybody together and then start working out from that. So
Nice.
yeah, and my friend said like, hey, you've been doing these small speeches and there's this competition coming up, and go
Why don't
try
you
there.
try
And
it,
I'm like,
yeah.
okay, let's try. And then
Right.
it became a path.
I see. You have a dancing background as well.
Yeah.
How did that all start?
Hip hop was really big in my city in late 90s.
Right.
And there was this band also in Finland that went international called Bomb Funk MCs.
Oh, yes.
And I think everybody tried breakdancing for
Right
at
on.
least 1 week at that time.
Right.
And I was just one of the kids who never stopped.
Oh, that's nice.
and yeah, so that's the story behind it. And
Right.
and for me it was also, I had like a little bit of troubles on speaking. I was afraid of speaking, so it became
Oh.
my language. And
Right.
but yeah, and open up doors, but also open up my persona. So
Right.
that's
Interesting.
that's the best thing from dancing I got.
Right.
Yeah.
And that you have been doing for how long?
I started in '98, so a lot of years,
been a
26
while.
years. Yeah.
That's been a while. And you still feel as motivated doing it today?
Yeah, of course it's changed.
Right.
When I was younger, I wanted to win all the competitions and battles.
Sure.
But then now it's more about still trying to create new moves,
Right.
trying to express yourself, and just enjoying the dance.
So where would you say, what was the point that the coin flipped? That he said like, it's not about the competitions anymore. It's just going to be like, I'm just going to enjoy myself. Not
Yeah.
that you were not doing before. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure you were. But
Yeah.
the mindset, when did it change?
I think it's pretty shallow just to dance in order to win,
Correct.
because there's so much more and you kind of stop learning when you just focus on winning.
Right.
And also it's competing is more about maybe pleasing the judges than
Correct.
and being you. So
Right.
so yeah, in the beginning dancing was just having fun, trying to learn, trying to create. Then it became competitive, and that's when you do that for a lot of years, it kind of kills the fun, at least for me.
Right.
And then I realized that and tried to figure out like, hey, I've won all these battles, trophies, but
Right.
is it the thing that keeps me on dancing? And it wasn't.
Right.
But now I still go to competitions. It's fun,
Right.
but there's no pressure in a way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So in a way, let's put it in the context of today's youth, for instance, or even not youth. I mean, I'm not from the youth anymore, but I love competitive gaming.
Yeah.
I'm a gamer, so I play a lot of games. Like Apex Legends, for instance, is one of them.
Yeah.
It's my top priority game, for instance. And it just drives me more that yes, I'm going to do better. I can do better. I can learn, and I spend time on it. Not that I'm doing any competitions or something like that. I'm nowhere near to that.
Yeah.
But the whole competitive zone, I've been a very competitive person all my life. So it just keeps me motivated that if I want to learn something, and I just deep dive into it and I want to, go for it.
Yeah. You said it yourself. Like it's more when you do it like that. It's more like an inner competition with yourself.
Correct.
And it makes you want to learn new stuff.
Right.
When you go in a competitive field, that when you compete against others,
right,
then it's more tactical. Like what is trending now? What is the best tactic? What is, and it's less about
what is the other person doing that I can do and perfect it, or
exactly. And you kind of battle different forces.
Correct.
And if you go in like brain chemistry, the best way to get dopamine is to learn new things, and in a competitive setup, if the learning gets lost, then it's hard to find the joy,
Right.
And
when it becomes just about the
exactly.
competition, that's
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
If I don't win this,
and then if it's about winning, then you get the good feeling only about the winning, not about the playing or creating or learning. So it's.
But how would you say, isn't it already winning that you have been able to do the things that you were not able to do before, but you're doing them and learning new things? Isn't that supposedly winning already?
Yeah, it is.
Right.
And
but it's the mindset that lets you,
and that's the biggest win.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And that's that keeps you invested in it, and you are not like it's not about the result, but it's about the actual that I can do this,
Right.
And that then you want to invest time in it.
For instance, if I can do this, then I can definitely do better something else as well alongside.
And it's a process,
Right.
Like when I was going competitions like every weekend, let's say that this era was like 2008 to 2012, every weekend competition for prize money or something like this, it really changed the breaking. And after 4 years of doing that, I realized like this is not the reason why I do it.
Right.
And it was a big learning process also, like, hey, what really motivates me in this dance.
So would you say at one point you were actually doing it for the money, for the sake of winning it?
For the win, for the trophy.
Right.
And also I was proud of being a professional dancer.
Right.
So that was kind of the career path, that you go in a competition and try to win that prize money.
Right.
And maybe there's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
For me, it wasn't the best. I wasn't really healthy in my mind in that setup.
Understandable. But of course, it must have opened many doors for you.
Yeah, for sure. And also, it opened a lot of doors. I could see the world, go to places I never been before.
Right.
And of course, there's a lot of positives. And also, you met so many new people, learn from new cultures.
Right.
And so I'm also thankful about that era of my life.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And did you move from the hip-hop world, or would you say that was the core base and it remains the core base? Or did you go into, finding out different styles as well? Not just hip-hop, particularly breakdancing and, hip-hop and so on, but that was your starting point, right?
Yeah. It's still the core. Like, I think there was a point when I started doing more speeches for companies. I was like maybe hiding it a little bit that I'm a breakdancer and I don't have any education. Okay. But now I'm like, okay, like I come in as a breaker. I dress like a breaker.
Right.
I speak like a breaker, and I think it's working better now because, if the story and the ideas you talk about is that if they are interesting, it doesn't matter what's your background.
Right.
But it
you're
adds,
comfortable in your skin.
Yep. So also, I don't have to fake it in the stage.
Right. So that comes to a question that you have actually made a dance school as well.
Yeah.
And that's called Saifa.
Saifa, yeah.
And what was the story behind it? Like, why did you want to do that?
We moved from Jyväskylä to Helsinki with our friends, and we kind of dancing was the thing we did. We didn't have any. We thought that we didn't have any other skills. In the end, like we can do a lot of different stuff, but that was there. Like we thought, like, hey, let's do something, but we didn't get so much jobs from the dance schools in Helsinki. So let's do our own. And try to build from there. Of course, it was more than just teaching a dance because there's a business side. So that was like we were total rookies in it. No idea how to run a business. No idea how to select the roles in a company or whatsoever. So it was all fun and we did it. We did a lot of mistakes, but it also now we know better.
Definitely. So along that way, the journey that you took in order to make this school, what is the most important thing would you say that you have learned?
I think the most important lesson, so to say, is that you can actually become great in almost everything. That if you haven't done something, it doesn't mean that you cannot learn it.
Right.
So just try and maybe you will become great in something that you never knew before.
Right.
So it's the same as dancing. If you started dancing, maybe you'll be one of the best. I don't know, but but
I mean, I've done breakdancing, but I wouldn't ever consider myself to be on a competitive level and so on. I mean, MJ was my thing. Basically, that what moved me, and James Brown. So who is his? You know.
Yeah, they say that James Brown is the first breaker.
Kinda, locking and everything. I mean, that's basically what. If you really look at the videos, that's where it did come from. So exactly. So coming to the point of that, you can become better at something that you focus on. You push yourself, and you never know that you can do it. That's exactly what happened with the motivational speeches for you, right? Yeah.
That's just something. I thought all my youth that I'm not a speaker.
Right.
But it's funny, sometimes the obstacle becomes the path.
Yeah, that became your strong point.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, and then it kind of went off, and now it's a good mix with dancing and speaking.
Right.
Dancing is less money, speaking it's
financially
better, and I think in both it's the same that I just try to do as little gimmicks and be as authentic as possible on the stage. And it's for me, it's creating a story is the same as creating a dance move. So they work the same for me. So I kind of like the.
So you've kind of linked them. Somehow the same process. You just linked around with that.
Yeah, exactly.
And what about podcasting?
I'm lazy podcaster. People always ask do more, and then I do a little bit, and then I get bored of doing it.
Right.
So I'm that also I feel I don't have the passion for it so much, but I do it because it's asked, and that's I'm thinking about if I'm gonna do it or no in the future. I like writing though. Writing is for more. I get fired up when I start writing. So.
Right. I mean, how would you say? I mean, is it podcasting you feel pressured somehow? Is it being asked by public somehow, or is it being asked by, your friends that, hey, it would be great to have this guy or this lady or whoever to, come over to the podcast, talk about stuff?
Yeah, I like to be in a visitor like this in a podcast, or best. Yeah. But running my own, it's. I haven't figured out yet how to make it that I wake up and let's go. Yeah. I haven't had the feeling in podcasting for that.
So in a way, what you're saying, the presence of somebody else around gives that energy.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Which is hard to get out of a screen.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And if it is not a live podcast, you don't have interaction with the other people around.
Yeah.
It becomes difficult.
Yeah.
Right. And that's exactly what's happening because of the motivational speeches, that the crowd is there.
Yeah.
There's a reaction coming.
Yeah.
So would you say like it's as important for any art form as well to have the audience of sort?
It changes definitely. Like especially during COVID, a lot of the speeches was just microphone and screen.
Right.
And the audience were you didn't
you
have
never
any
know.
interaction with them.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So every time you did a speech, even when it went well and you get really good reviews after, you felt super empty. Like you felt just hollow, like tired.
As if I just put the words out there. If they got somewhere, they did.
Yeah, yeah. And then again, like when you speak live, after every speech, you're like, okay, you can see the interaction with the audience. Somebody is smiling, somebody is crying, and you get the energy. And then after the speech, you like, it feels more meaningful.
Okay.
For me, of course, like I listen to a lot of podcasts, and
sure.
Yeah, and I like it in a way. So podcasting is as meaningful also.
Right.
But I think it's also like you have to figure out for yourself like what gets you going.
But how does it differ for you in writing? Like, what is the essence you get out of the writing that you weren't able to get out of the podcasting doing it alone?
I think for writing is, of course, podcast. Yeah, it lives after.
Right.
Dancing, in the other hand, it's like it's done in a life and it's gone.
Right.
Speaking also, it's done, it's gone. And in writing, it's something concrete. It stays. And I even write like with the old school typewriter.
Oh wow! Okay.
So it's something physical, something.
Right.
It's also in the mind, but it's also like concrete thing.
It's like for me, when I sit down to write lyrics, I mean, nowadays, of course, I use my iPad, but let's say before the iPad, I always had a paper and a pen.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just was a different feeling.
Yeah.
Instead of just writing it on the laptop or keyboard as per se, whatever.
Yeah.
It was such a different feeling. I never understood that.
Yeah.
And it's such a different feeling.
Yeah. I think there's some magic in like doing analog stuff also.
Exactly. As you said, like you write on a typewriter. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
But do you get to correct them with the, what is it, whitener or?
Yeah, I don't correct.
Okay.
Because if you make it like some official, like let's say if you put it in a book, then you need to edit it again.
Right.
Of course,
right.
That's process. But it's also like with a typewriter, because many times if you write with a computer, you're like, okay, you can change the words a little bit, you can change the order of the sentences and stuff. But with typewriter, you just type and it's go. And
right.
Okay, it came out like this. And
nice.
It's in the beginning, it was really hard for me, but you just need to know, like, trust in yourself and your ability that, okay, the words will come out when I just hit the buttons. And it's a different experience for me because it happens in the now, but it stays forever.
Right. There's actually, I don't remember the terminology of it, but there's a name for such writing as well. That whatever comes out, you just write it exactly and leave it as it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And if I am correct, stand me corrected. I mean, this is where the slam poetry came out from. I don't know if you know slam poetry.
Yeah.
It's like on the go.
Yeah.
And whatever your background is, like coming out, how you're developing it, and you're just doing it out there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I used to watch a lot of those videos in YouTube. I really loved. I need to go back for.
I think at the very beginning, when the YouTube came out, it became a viral thing.
Yeah.
And it was quite at a hype at that point, and something happened. It just vanished.
Yeah.
It didn't vanish, but I mean, like, it's not that viral anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. It's. I bet there's still people doing it and
somewhere out there. So how would you put this all context with your entrepreneurial aspect? Like, where did it kick you in that, wait, like I can do that too, I can make my art and move it into making a business out of it after all? Was it at any point like kind of like a motivation that, no, I mean, I can do it on my own now. I can build it up, start up the school, you got the gym as well. Like, where does it all reside that I wanted to do this?
All the companies, like I started, I'm a type of person that if I get into something, I'm like maniac on learning.
Right.
Like I invest everything I have in learning
into
the stuff.
Yeah.
Like even when I started the gym, I was like, okay, I can break. Maybe I can learn how to squat. I can learn how to deadlift, and that was super easy for me. Like breaking down those movements after spending so many years in complex dance moves.
Right.
It wasn't so, but I did dive really deep into it and was like 24/7 just learning, watching YouTube videos, filming myself when I deadlift or do push-ups, and that's kind of, you learn, like you grow as a person and you grow the skills pretty fast in that way, always analyzing and I noticed that not many people do it like that. Like many people just start, maybe they go to school, they do the thing, but that's it. They don't do the extra after. And I didn't go to many schools, but I always did the extra. So
maybe that was the motivation.
Yeah.
So what? I'm gonna do it like in my own set of like my own pattern of getting the knowledge.
Yeah. And then I found out, especially when I started teaching kids to dance, that I can make people, if you give me 60 minutes, I can make you be fired up about swinging a kettlebell. It's gonna be the most fun thing ever for that 6 minutes.
And how do you get in that state of mind? And what do you think that motivates the other person?
It's just like showing maybe the thing that, let's say if you start teaching somebody, you open up that person's world a little bit. Like you give this small bits during the session, like where you understand like that I learned something new, that I succeeded, and that lights the fire inside of person's heart. And it's just finding how I can ignite you, like that more spark. And it's about being present and seeing the small cues and seeing maybe like what you are a little bit afraid of, how I can help you go past that fear. And if we succeed in that, you're gonna love it. And it doesn't matter what it is. It can be breakdancing, it can be gym, it can be
anything.
Paddle. It doesn't matter what it is. But that is the thing. Like, what are you a little bit afraid of? How we can move past that fear, and then you are on fire. Yeah.
So as we're coming to the end, I would say, what would you like to? I mean, please do add up some words that you can for the young entrepreneurs and for the startups as well. How could they motivate themselves to get in the flow of getting the things done and succeed?
I think that what stops us is there's a couple of things. If we focus too much on winning, we're gonna always have one extra opponent. If you're afraid of losing, there's another opponent, and then we are battling against forces that are super strong. So how to get rid of those is just focus on learning, and then, like we talked, you gotta get the wins. You're gonna fail too, so you don't have to worry about that. So learning is winning and failing at the same time.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Johannes. It was very nice to talk with you. I wish you all the best, and thank you for coming to the ship. And I hope you enjoyed it.
I definitely did.
And I hope you're going to enjoy the rest of the day as well.
Hey, thank you. Awesome to be here.
Thank you.